Anime begins with Seiichi Hiragi, a teenage Japanese boy, struggles. He was teased and endured a rough life in school owing to his unappealing looks. But then a tipping moment occurs. Suddenly, the weird voice heard on the school's radio transported me to another dimension. Seiichi and his classmates are abruptly teleported to a different universe by a mystery god. Seiichi is cut off from his classmates and finds himself in a wilderness, where he must spend the next 5 months learning how to survive alone. During that period, he discovers puzzling fruits that strengthen his body and gives him a more aesthetically pleasing appearance. Seiichi is attacked by Saria, a gorilla-like female monster who has fallen in love with him after seeing his strength in a fight, hunting, and using magic. Furthermore, it is ignored how stated God erased any evidence of the school's kids and professors' existence just to prevent the tremendous hassle. This means that none of their family remembers or recognizes them. Seiichi, having beaten Kaiser Kong the gorilla monster, proposes to her. Seiichi begins to live with a gorilla named Saria. Despite her pure and direct generosity, she attempts to flee because the other party is a gorilla. Seiichi becomes more uneasy in the presence of Saria and seeks to flee by exploring a tunnel she had previously told him about. Seiichi feels uneasy around Saria and tries to escape through a cave Saria has warned him about. Unfortunately, Seiichi is beaten by the Dark Lord Xenos, the cave's lone resident. The fight between Xenos and Seiichi, who possesses the power of the previous boss class, has begun. However, Seiichi is now in danger. Saria was the one who stepped right in front of him at the moment. Saria manages to save him, but at a great personal cost. Xenos is accidentally released from his curse of undeath and allowed to enter the afterlife after enraged Seiichi kills him in combat. Both Seiichi and Saria go through their final stages of evolution, with Saria becoming human and Seiichi gaining more magical strength. Additionally, Mr. Sheep, the warden of Xenos' dungeon, visits them as they discover the awful history of Xenos. Seiichi and Saria receive travel funds and a kit from Mr. Sheep that could enable them to reap further evolutionary benefits. Seiichi and Saria decide to leave the forest together. The monarch proclaims Seiichi's classmates heroes, and they begin training. Karen Kanazuki, one of the few persons in the class who cared for Seiichi, is upset by some of his classmates' dissatisfaction with the training sessions and desire to witness actual combat. Saria seems to have died in the struggle. She became a gorgeous woman and returned to life after devouring the fruit of evolution. Seiichi departs Saria and the woodland for the royal capital. This is to track down Senior Kanazuki, who is an alumni. Seiichi and Saria travel to Tilbert, the royal capital of Vimberg. In the royal capital, Seiichi seeks to participate in the Adventurers Guild. The awaiting people, on the other hand, were quite unusual, like a dark-skinned macho and Mr. S. Seiichi encounters Altria, a female adventurer with a purpose, among them. To join the local Adventurers Guild and obtain official IDs, Seiichi wins membership for himself and Saria despite being disturbed by the members' fetishes. They must perform little duties under the supervision of an experienced guild mate, Arturia Grimm, to become official members. Seiichi is charged with aiding in the destruction of a nearby building and minding a noblewoman's dog while Saria cares for some kids in a church. Seiichi and Saria finish their tasks and are formally accepted into the guild. Under Arturia's supervision, an A-class adventurer was given the name Catastrophe owing to her terrible luck curse from birth. She is a lovely young lady with a dark complexion, shoulder-length flowing white hair, and bright eyes. When Seiichi first saw her, he described her as a dark beauty. Seiichi and Saria carry on with their testing until Seiichi notices 3 demons putting up portals heading to the dungeon where the Black Dragon God resides. The following day, as Seiichi and Saria start their final exam, the demon's transfer spell transports the 3 to the labyrinth. They are teleported inside the dungeon, which has a vast labyrinth, and they are transferred inside the dungeon, which has a huge maze, together with Arturia. Artoria must find a means to connect with Seiichi and Saria after stepping on a stone that creates a substantial barrier between them. When she confronts the Black Dragon God at the dungeon's lowest level, Seiichi and Saria are just in time to save her from certain death. She barely survives the Black Dragon God's attacks. Seiichi saves the dying Altria and dares the Black Dragon God to fight. Despite having to battle, the Black Dragon God, who had fearsome strength, was able to defeat it. After defeating the Black Dragon God, Seiichi gains the ability to use spatial magic, which he then used to return his allies to the guild. Artoria feels bad for putting Seiichi in jeopardy and is shocked to see that he would risk his life to save her. She tells him about how she came to be known as the Calamity and explains that she was born with 2 million points of bad luck. That caused her to deliver terrible luck to everyone she encountered. Thankfully, Seiichi presents her with a unique ring he discovered back at the dungeon. Despite the ring nullifying her curse, Artoria runs away in shame, believing Seiichi has just proposed to her. Altria hides from everyone, regretting her fate. Seiichi pursues her to support her. The remaining commanders of the Demon Lord's army learn about the death of the Black Dragon God, which makes them fear that someone is attempting to reopen the human-demon conflict. Seiichi visits Tilbert's royal library at the suggestion of Gussel and Eris to learn more about his fellow students. When it doesn't work, he tries to read magic-related books and unintentionally boosts his magic power. Later, after eating in a local cafe, he strikes into a conversation with the owner, Nord, and a regular named Rands. Nord and Rands counsel him to be truthful with Artoria and make things right with her after he reveals that he feels bad about having just put her in an awkward situation. Adriana, a friend of Artoria, counsels her to tell Seiichi about her affection for him. Seiichi is already in love with Saria, but Artoria confesses her love for him when they reunite. Saria decides to share Seiichi with Artoria, and their friends all support the decision. On a beautiful day, Saria and Seiichi pass the exam and join the Adventurers Guild while their relationship becomes jerky. The Kaiser Empire planned to enslave Kanazuki and others from another globe and send them to the Barbador Magic Academy during that time. Seiichi, on the other hand, visits the royal capital and meets a variety of individuals. They plan to confront Altria with their remarks in mind. It was bright outside, and Seiichi was bound to Altria. Enter the world of a winning team led by 2 stunning women named Saria Altria. Now an A-rank adventurer, Seiichi decides to get a horse following Gussel's advice. As Seiichi was told to buy a horse to make his adventuring easy, Gasser went to a monster store to buy one, and there he met Lillian, a donkey who doesn't like humans who are not strong, and when any human, male, approached her she would kick him, even the shopkeeper, as her mother told her she should provide her service to only those she finds worthy and strong. When she met Seiichi she tried to attack her, but after trying several times she gave in and recognized Seiichi as her master, and Seiichi agrees to buy her. Seiichi discovers a young artist named Mei talking with her friend Clay about entering the royal art competition, which is held a month after the royal race after he has purchased food for Lillian. Mei is doubtful if she should compete, but Seiichi suggests a trade. If he succeeds in the royal race, Mei will enter the exhibition. She accepts, but on the day of the competition, Lillian falls ill because she skipped breakfast. Monsters, taken aback by the absurd death race, rushed into it as well, and chaos ensued. Thankfully, Seiichi gives her some of his evolutionary fruits, enabling her to take first place. But because of the benefits of evolution Seiichi gave Lillian before the race, she transforms into a human form thereafter. Seiichi is brought to Wimberg's royal castle as the race's victor, where he meets Louise Balls, the Valkyrie's captain. To gauge Seiichi's abilities, she challenges him to a training match. She becomes herself to be his apprentice when he wins the match. The Valkyries rush in to stop the assassin as she suddenly attacks the king of Wimberg. The scene where Seiichi is haphazardly whisked away by those Valkyries we sort of met previously is what we need to think about for him to win last week's race. A day with these stunning warrior ladies, complete with a simulated fight with Louise, the Rose of some sails, and the best Valkyrie of all. It is here that the good Seiichi wields his godlike powers and captures this powerful and independent woman in his thrall, and he does so with the modesty of an incredibly dumb dork who still does not know the reality-shaping rewards he has already been regularly swinging against the unworthy and unholy. The assassin's youth is revealed by Seiichi using magic. To the chagrin of Lucia's advisor Kreis, who is pushing for war against the humans, Seiichi's classmates are transferred to Barbador Magical Academy, and the Demon Nation's ruling council, led by Lucia, the Demon Lord's daughter, decides to negotiate for peace with Vimberg. Auriga, the assassin who assaulted the king, was a little girl. Seiichi keeps her aggressive girlfriend under control. The curse, however, had put the king into a coma. At the castle's training grounds, Seiichi spots the assassin and easily catches her. He recognizes the killer as Auriga Calmeria and sends the Valkyries to question her. Due to Auriga's curse, the king is still in critical condition, and Seiichi can only save him by conjuring his healing magic. Altria was concerned about Seiichi being escorted to the lovely Valkyrie at the moment. Talia was also perplexed by her sentiments of jealousy, which she was experiencing for the first time in her life. In the royal palace, on the other side, a horrifying cross-examination of Auriga is about to commence in a location where Seiichi is not. He also learns that the king is Ranz, the one who had before given him advice on how to handle his amorous difficulties with Artoria. Ranz rewards Seiichi by letting him use the castle to hone his magic and combat abilities. Zakia, the veteran soldier who taught Seiichi's classmates how to fight, is horrified to learn that Aelio, the Kaiser Emperor's hired mage, put bracelets on the students to keep them from becoming a threat to the kingdom. She questions the Emperor's decision to send them to Barbador Magical Academy. A sudden assassination attempt on the king prompts Zakia to go after him. Seiichi and Louise observe Auriga being questioned by Lorna, one of Louise's Valkyries. When they learn that Auriga is subject to the Kaiser Empire's orders, they cease the interrogation. Seiichi can free Auriga from the slave collar by casting his liberation spell. Seiichi is set free from his curse after discovering his tragic background. The Kaiser Empire, the major cause, is the target of passionate rage. Despite being compelled to seek monster activity close to Wimberg's borders, Louise asks Seiichi to watch over Ranz while she is away. In the meantime, Shuren, an archer who attempted to kill the Kaiser Emperor, is confronted by Zakia. Shuren was horrified by the murder of the demon woman he loved and vowed to exact revenge on the Kaiser Empire for its harsh treatment of demonic beings. As a result of Shuren's escape, Zakia is forced to reconsider his allegiance to the Empire. Tilburg has successfully held against the first wave of monsters thanks to the combined efforts of the remaining soldiers from Vimberg and the local guild of adventurers. Unfortunately, the monster army's reinforcements show up, leaving the defenders with no way to flee. Barnabas, a transcendent magician, has come to the kingdom of Vimberg. He was the director of the Barbador Magic Academy, which was home to Kanazuki's seniors. According to Barnabas, a valiant guy arrives from another world with a dilemma. Barnabas, who served as Ranz's mentor, visits Arkel. He informs Ranz about the kids that have lately transferred to his school, Barbador Magical Academy, which causes Seiichi to understand that those new students are his Japanese classmates. Suddenly, a soldier notifies Ranz that a monster army has launched an attack on Tilburg. A swarm of monsters is claimed to have arisen in the forest near the kingdom. Valkyrie, the Adventurers Guild, and Saria were standing in their way. A massive fight between monsters and Kiwamono has begun. Louise and her Valkyries have joined an army led by the Black Paladin, Wimberg's greatest soldier, to combat monsters on Wimberg's boundaries, preventing them from assisting in the defense of Tilburg. Wimberg's surviving soldiers and the local adventure guild band together to defend Tilburg and successfully repel the first wave of monsters. The Tilburg defenders are untouched as the opposing army is destroyed by Seiichi's offensive spell Judgment. Barnabas, who is impressed by Seiichi's talent, commends him for saving the city and offers him a job as a teacher at Barbador. He invites Seiichi to join the Barbador Magic Academy as an instructor. Seiichi, looking forward to meeting his seniors, took the opportunity, and Seiichi accepts on the condition that he waits until Louise and her Valkyries return to Tilbert to assure Rand's safety. Seiichi and his pals leave for Barbador when Louise returns to Tilbert, with a pledge to come back. But it spelled the end of the kingdom of Vimberg. Seiichi turns up with something in the time remaining. Saria Altria, Lurine, Olga, and others were there. Kreis is disappointed to find that Tilbert was not eliminated by the monster army. The Demon Lord, who intended to utilize the resentment sparked by the destruction of the city to resurrect himself, is furious with him because of this failure. The Demon Lord vows to find another means to reclaim his power since he simply sees his failure as a brief setback. Seiichi's winning life and evolutionary otherworld adventures comes to an end right here.
Adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world. Episode 1. The story opens in Labyrinth City, where we meet our MC named Nick, who is a member of an adventuring party. After getting kicked out of his party, his girlfriend broke up with him. He ended up becoming an idol attacker. The MC is sitting in the rain when he comes across a girl named Agate who is apparently an idol. She gives him a ticket to her concert and leaves. The next day, MC finds himself standing to see her concert and is extremely hyped up about it. Later, he goes to the Adventurers Guild in order to find new friends to form a party, but he fails. He goes to a tavern where he ends up sharing a table with a mage, a cleric and a dragonian. It is revealed that the mage's name is Tiana, and she's well liked by everyone around her. However, her fiancé is insecure about her being better than him, and he calls off his engagement with her. Her life turned upside down after that, and he couldn't really find a suitable job for her. She started gambling and betting on Terrain Dragon Race. However, after a while, she ended up losing. The cleric's M started telling everybody his tale. He belonged to a city of medicinal herbs. Myril used to be his disciple who used to bring him a bunch of herbs. One night, Myril confesses to Zem, but he turns her down, upsetting her. The next day, Myril falsely accuses Zem of assault. Zem is locked up in jail. It is revealed that he was in jail for 3 months before being banished. After that, he spent the night with a random woman who told him to go to Labyrinth City and join the adventuring party. It was the Dragonian's turn and she told them that there was someone important who stole something important from her. The next morning, the MC woke up in a room with the other 3 and could not remember who they were. Tiana reveals that it was her room and everybody needed to leave. As they're about to leave, the MC suggests that they should form a party, instead of parting ways like that. Episode 2. As the 4 of them go to the guild to form a party, the receptionist tells them that the Dragonier, Kern, in their party, managed to come back alive from a C-rank labyrinth. The MC then decides to name their party survivors, and the rest of the party approves. The MC then discusses the rules and roles of the party. The MC explains to everyone how they need to be skeptical of each other. However, Kern adds that she would like to trust them. The rest of the group also feels the same. The next day, the MC explains to everyone that they're starting as G-rankers and have access to only 3 labyrinths. They need to defeat the bosses of the labyrinths in order to be promoted to F rank. It is revealed that their first targets are a bunch of slimes. As they're killing slimes, Tiana accidentally ends up attacking Kern. Kern gets angry and warns Tiana. As they go to the top floor, they find the boss slime. Tiana rushes in to attack, and the boss slime ends up exploding. As they're cleaning themselves up, the MC tries to restore trust in his party by telling them his secrets. He also tells the party to decide what they hope to accomplish in this party. Just then, Tiana gets up and apologizes to Kern, telling her about her weaknesses. Kern forgives her, in her own sundear way. After that, the MC leads the party to the Goblin Forest. Tiana detects the location of the goblins. They discuss their strategy before heading to the location. They charge in to attack the goblins and their leader. Kern takes on the leader and is able to defeat it easily. The MC starts collecting the horns of the goblins and asks his party to do the same. While doing so, he ends up breaking Kern's necklace. Episode 3. We're taken to Kern's past where she's roaming around in a town. She comes across a jewelry shop where she falls in love with the necklace. As it was expensive, she couldn't buy it. Curran was about to leave when the shopkeeper accused her of damaging the necklace. Cleos, Curran's party member, appears there and saves Curran from the mess. It is revealed that the shopkeeper had replaced the necklace with the damaged one in order to extract money from Curran. Cleos gives the original pendant to Curran. Later, Curran's party goes to a dungeon, and Curran defeats a monster beetle instantly, gaining the respect of her party. They head to the pot snake afterwards. Curran rushes in to attack the pot snake. However, it is revealed that her party had used her as bait to defeat the pot snake on their own. Later, she's able to escape the dungeon. She barely manages to get to the inn and asks the receptionist about Cleos. He reveals to Curran that Cleos told everyone that Curran died in the dungeon. Cleos had also taken away her possessions. For the next few days, Curran kept looking for Cleos. When she got hungry, she headed towards a restaurant where she came across Fifths, the solo eater. She gets impressed by him. She keeps following him, but Fifths notices her. She keeps buying whatever Fifths buys. She soon became broke after spending so much money on food. Back in the future, the MC is looking for a similar necklace for Curran. As he's looking for a necklace, he comes across the idol agate. She suggests that the gift he should give to Curran should be himself. Later, the MC spends some time with Curran. Curran assures the MC that he should not worry about the pendant and that she's better that way. Later, the receptionist of the Adventurers Guild tells the MC's party that she needs their help with searching the Labyrinth of Bonds. Episode 4. The MC states his requirements to the receptionist before agreeing to the mission. They set out to look for the sword. It is revealed that someone had been keeping an eye on them through a camera. As the party goes deep into the building, they come across a dead end. The MC goes near the dead end and a secret door opens. As they go inside the door, a mysterious voice welcomes them. They ignore the voice talking to them and observe the sword in front of them. It is revealed that the sword is the one talking to them. As the MC picks up the sword, the Guardian system gets activated. The amalgam golem appears and the sword explains to them that they won't be able to leave the building without defeating it. The golem overpowers the party. The MC tells the rest of the party to run away while he distracts the golem. The sword urges the MC to equip it in order to defeat the golem. The MC equips the sword, but is still not able to defeat the golem. Curran and Zem are fighting the golem when the MC appears. He seems to be united with Curran. The MC and Curran are able to defeat the golem instantly. Later they present the sword to the receptionist, and she agrees to pay them. It is revealed that the sword's name is Kazuna, and he's the newest member of the MC's party. Later, the MC distributes the money they got from their mission. Episode 5. Kazuna is loving his life now that he's free. The MC tasks the party members to keep their funds safe. It is revealed that the MC's party has only 230 dyna to save. The MC urges the party to earn more money. We're taken to Tiana's past where she's being told by the master of her school that she's not a student there anymore. Her master then gives an igniter as a goodbye gift to her. It is revealed that the master and Tiana got caught in a scandal, which is why both of them were dismissed. The next day, the MC's party heads to their quest. They're supposed to be fighting a Rasetsu ogre. Kazuna rushes in to attack him. The ogre attacks Kazuna, but he avoids his attack easily. Kazuna overpowers the ogre and defeats him instantly. After completing the quest, the MC, Curran and Kazuna hang out together. The three of them go inside a restaurant to have some food. The MC spots his ex-girlfriend, Claudine, in the restaurant. She's seen to be scamming a boy by telling him that she needs money to visit her sick mom. The MC decides to join her and the boy. He exposes her in front of the boy. Claudine gets angry and leaves. Later, when the MC is discussing their next quest with the party, Claudine appears there with her party member Leon. They go outside in order to fight. However, Leon ends up apologizing to him instead of fighting. He tells the MC that his time with Claudine is over as she had made a lot of enemies. He also asks the MC if he had been fooling his party members like her. The MC gets angry and punches Leon. Both of them start fighting, but the MC overpowers Leon. Just then, Leon's party member appears and attacks the MC from behind. However, he's soon attacked by Curran. Vilma, the receptionist along with the MC's party, arrives at the scene and stops the commotion. Leon suggests that the only way to settle things is to compete in the mathematics bare knuckle. Episode 6. Vilma explains the rules of the contest to everybody. The MC's party spent their day and night training and coming up with plans for the next week, except for Zem. He had been hanging around with girls a lot. It is revealed that he's asking about Claudine's party with the girls. A night before the contest, the MC explains to the party that Claudine's party are going to pull cheap tricks in order to win. The next morning, the mathematics bare knuckle begins. Kern and Claudine are handed over their tests. Meanwhile, Leon and Nick are fighting. Kern is distracted by their fight. By the time round 2 started, the MC started figuring out Leon's strategy. It is revealed that Leon had been buying time in order to cheat. Claudine is able to score more than Kern in the next round. The MC gets 2 hits. Kern gets worried about him, but the MC tells him to focus on what she is doing. He tells her how amazing she is, pushing her to do her best. Round 3 starts. Kern is all excited to solve mathematical problems. The entire party of survivors is able to determine Claudine and Leon's strategy. Tiana suggests to Vilma that they should just do all the remaining problems at once as they're taking too long. Leon realizes that they're trying to stop them from buying any more time. As the new round starts, Kern quickly starts solving the problems. It is revealed that Claudine had been communicating with her other party members, who had been solving the problems for her. Leon realizes that the entire test is a trap, and tells Claudine to stop. The MC's party is able to locate the guy who had been helping. The contest is over, and Leon's party is being taken away by the guards. Episode 7. We're taken to Leon's past where we're introduced to his brother named Bishop, who was the leader of an adventurer party named Silver Tigers. They were able to gather a lot of gold and jewels, and that wouldn't have been possible without Bishop. However, he also died a pretty miserable death. As Leon is locked up, a guard comes to question him. He asks him about the treasure he stole that night with his brother. Leon summons his sword of destruction. The MC's party is revealed to have made a decent amount of money after the contest, and they decided to sit back and relax for a while. Tiana is shown to gamble and is destroying pretty much everyone. Leon is hunting down the MC and comes to the casino the MC and his party were in. It is revealed that Leon's sword enhanced his powers and evolved him after Leon equipped this sword. Back in the casino, Leon is able to locate Tiana. He asks Tiana about the MC, but she refuses to tell Leon about his whereabouts. Meanwhile, the MC notices the commotion and wonders what's going on. Tiana explains to Leon that holding her hostage won't do him any good as she's not the MC's comrade. After that, Tiana distracts Leon with her pipe and attacks him. As she runs away, Leon stops her. As Leon is about to attack Tiana, the MC appears and stops him. Leon's sword notices the Sword of Bonds and enhances Leon's powers even more. Tiana suggests to the MC that they should go for a union in order to defeat Leon. As they unite, they're able to overpower Leon. Leon lets go of his sword of destruction. Leon is put back into prison again. Later, the MC visits Leon and informs him that he had sealed away the sword. Episode 8. As the MC is running in order to train, he comes across Agate. They sit down to relax. That's when Agate asks the MC if he had a goal in mind. She explains to him that she's glad that the MC has finally found a direction. She told him how she wasn't sure about her decision to hand him the ticket to her concert that day. She thought it might make or break his life. She explained to the MC that she was glad that she was able to help him. We're taken to Agate's past where she introduces herself as Belle Hadgens. She helps out his boyfriend at his bar and works as a singer there. However, no one listens to her songs. One day, a man named Joseph Coleman approached him and introduced himself as a jewelry productions producer. He offers her to become an idol. Belle's boyfriend appears there and asks what's going on. Joseph tells him about his interest in Belle, and her boyfriend agrees with his idea. Joseph gives Belle a ticket to his concert. Belle was really impressed to see the idols performing and wanted to become like them. It is revealed that Joseph had recruited 3 girls including Belle. As her life as an idol began, her relationship with her boyfriend went south. He kept asking for money from Agate. It was one of those days when she came across the MC. She also remembered how she came across a goddess, Tiana, in the casino. Later, Joseph is seen telling Agate's boyfriend, Donnie, about the end of their relationship. Agate told Donnie that she knew Donnie was only with her because of her money. Both Agate and Donnie part ways. Later, Agate is seen on the stage for her fans. She told the fans that she saw a night in the casino where a fight broke out a few days ago. She reveals to everyone that the knight was actually a legendary paladin, much to the MC's surprise. She tells everyone that the song she's about to perform was written for her. She performed that song along with her band members and had a strong comeback. The next day, the MC comes across Agate again. He's glad that Agate has resolved her problem and she's ready to move forward.
The Iceblade sorcerer shall rule the world. The episode begins with a group of soldiers gathered around a grave as a funeral is going on. They mourn the loss of their comrade, and we see a boy named Ray who goes on to recall a few scenes from the war where a man named Howard is seen telling him that he is gonna have to live on. Howard is the man who is in the grave all of them are gathered around. We see how Howard explodes in front of Ray and Ray is covered in blood. Ray also sees a blonde girl lying on the ground and she is pooled in blood too. Ray then goes on to let out a loud scream and there is snow all around, and as we look on, the snow turns into a dome that spreads all over the battlefield. As Ray does that, the other comrades look on and they are amazed. The dome then disappears and we see Ray carrying the girl's body. The scene then changes and we are taken to normal world where we see Ray enrolling into a school where they teach sorcery. As Ray enters the gate, a girl comes running and runs into Ray. However, Ray catches her before she falls. Ray says sorry to her as he is the one who was standing in the middle of the road. Ray then goes on to tell her that he is a new student and they have already heard about the new student. This new student is rumored to be neither rich nor from a sorcerer's family, so they understand that Ray is that rumored guy. This is when everyone's behavior toward him changes and the other students start discriminating against him. A boy named Albert comes. Ray introduces himself and tries to shake hands with Albert, but Albert just shoves his hand away and tells him that Ray does not belong there, adding that this place is only for aristocrats or someone who is born in a sorcerer family. Ray is about to leave, but Albert stops him. He gets physical and Ray dodges his attack. Albert gets pissed and is about to attack Ray when he is stopped by a girl, a red-haired girl. Albert says that he will never accept Ray and leaves, and then the red-haired girl comes to him and introduces herself as Amelia Rose. Amelia is nice to Ray and she goes on to congratulate Ray for getting admission into the school despite being an ordinary, and Ray thanks her for being the first person at this school who is nice to him. This academy is called the Arnold Academy and the ceremony of welcoming the newcomers gets started. The principal of the academy goes on to introduce herself to the students as Abby Garnett. The principal tells everyone to work hard to become the best version of themselves, and after that, Amelia Rose, the representative of the first-year students, comes to the stage and addresses the newcomers, telling them that they are going to face a lot of hardships there, but it's going to be worth it. Ray is then seen in the class where he introduces himself to everyone. He is welcomed by some students while the others go on to question how on earth did he manage to get into this academy as he is a commoner. The teacher named Helena Grady then comes forward and tells Ray to get back on his seat. Amelia is again very nice to Ray, much to the shock of her other classmates. Amelia Rose is a girl who belongs to one of the 3 top families at the academy, and that is why everyone is shocked, because it is hard for them to see such a high-class girl being nice to a commoner. Ray then sits in the window, and as he looks outside, he again starts thinking about the war. Miss Helena throws a chalk at him, but he grabs it between his finger before it hits him. The chalk, however, explodes and Ray's face is covered in white. Helena did it because Ray was not paying attention to the lecture. She then goes on to tell Amelia Rose to tell the other students about the different ranks of sorcerers. Amelia says, there are 5 ranks. The lowest one is bronze, then silver, then gold, then platinum, and then the top ranked, which is also called the holy rank, grand. The teacher then goes on to tell the students that there are 7 grand sorcerers at one time and they are the top sorcerers in the whole world. The teacher also goes on to tell the students that the identity of these sorcerers is usually not known to anyone. Only a few of them have revealed their identity thus far. The first one is Abby Garnett, the principal of this academy. She has immense firepower and is known as the Burning Sorcerer. Aside from her, the next known Grand Sorcerer is called Caroline, and this sorcerer is also famous among people as the Charming Sorcerer. She happens to be a good sorcery researcher, and that has helped her make quite a name for herself. The third grand sorcerer that people know about is known as the Ice Blade Sorcerer, and she made a name herself in the East War but disappeared after the war came to an end. The teacher tells her students that in this academy, if they work hard, any one of them could take place of one of these 7 sorcerers. Albert is also in the class, and he goes on to ask the teacher why did the academy accept an ordinary like Ray, and the teacher gets pissed at this stupid question. She goes on to tell him that everyone sitting here came because they have passed a trial and an interview. The teacher then tells Amelia to explain what sorcery is, and Amelia explains that sorcery is a technique to reconstruct the world's first material, also called prima materia. The teacher tells the students that sorcery is actually a code theory, and to learn this, you must turn prima materia into code, edit the code, and then you add or remove the information, and the last step is to materialize the code. The teacher then goes on to say that the things you create could also be removed. Upon being asked, the teacher goes on to explain that there is no limit to things that can be created using prima materia. The only limit you have is your own ability. The teacher tells the students that there are 4 types of materials that can be created: solid, gas, liquid, and plasma. One of the students goes on to ask if they can use anti-material code to remove what they have created, but the teacher says that as of right now, there is actually no sorcerer who has the ability to use anti-material code. The teacher then tells the students to do some practice, and the students try to create different things through sorcery. Amelia is able to make a rose of ice with ease. All the students are impressed by her talent and appreciate her work. We then see Ray, who is barely able to produce a cube of ice, and that also disappears right away. The students again make fun of him, wondering how on earth did this guy manage to get admission in the academy. Albert is also annoyed by the fact that someone with no skills in sorcery is in their academy. When the class is over, Ray makes his way to the library where he sees one of his classmates. She is a girl wearing a coat, and Ray asks her if she is looking for Ainsworth's book in the library. The girl goes on to introduce herself to Ray as Eliza Griffith. Eliza then goes on to tell Ray that she is the biggest fan of Ainsworth. She says that her goal is to become a doctor just like Ainsworth. Ray also tells her that he too happens to be his fan, and she is happy to hear that. She says that it is really exciting to talk to someone who too happens to be Ainsworth's fan. Ray then asks Eliza why is she always wearing a hoodie, adding that she has a really beautiful ear. She then tells him that it is not her hair she is worried about, but her ears, her pointy ears. Ray goes on to ask her if she is half-elf. Eliza then tells him that she is half-elf on her mother's side, and she has always been bullied about being a half-elf. Ray, however, tells her that she looks beautiful and that she should not be hiding her face at all. Eliza then says that Ray seems like a mature guy. Upon hearing this, Ray gets sad as he remembers how Howard used to say the same thing, as he too once told Ray that he was too mature for his age. Ray then makes his way to the dormitory, and when he gets to his room, he sees a boy named Evie Armstrong. When Ray comes forward, Evie approaches him and draws his hand out. Both of them shake hand nicely until Evie starts squeezing Ray's hand. Both of them are really strong, and the next thing we see, the two are standing with their shirts off, marveling at how nice their bodies are. The scene then changes to the next morning, where we see Ray jogging as he passes a girl flowering plants. Ray goes to the girl and makes small talk. He introduces himself, and the girl is really impressed by the fact that he is up so early to work out. The girl then goes on to introduce herself as Rebecca Bradley, adding that she is from 3rd year. The next thing we see, Ray is on his way to the class, and Evie is also with him. Ray goes on to tell him about the girl he met during the morning jog, and Evie goes on to educate Ray on how things work in the Sorcerer Academy. He goes on to tell him that there are 3 main and strong families in the Sorcerer Society. They are Rose, Bradley, and Algren. He goes on to say that Amelia happens to be the eldest of the Rose family. When Ray is walking in the hallway, a student comes running and bumps into him. Ray right away goes on to apologize to the girl, and when the girl sees him, she goes on to say that he must be the rumored ordinary. Ray is however still nice to her, and the girl feels bad for being mean to him. The girl goes on to tell him that she is Clarice Cleveland. Ray says that he is sorry, but he does not really know about a sorcerer family called Cleveland, and the girl goes on to tell him that he might not know about her family, but it is well known in the society. Ray then senses the girl getting a little offended and goes on to lighten the mood by saying that her family must be full of pretty girls since she is so pretty, and this causes Clarice to start blushing and she goes away. Ray then runs into the principal of the school and goes on to salute her right away. She however tells him that she is retired already, so Ray does not really need to salute her, and then even goes on to tell Ray to just call her Abby. Ray then starts calling her Abby and she laughs at this, telling Ray that he is a lot like Howard. They then go on to talk about some things in the past, and she shows Ray a photo in which there's her whole team and Ray is also in the photo, but he is a little kid. Ray then makes his way to the class, and that day, his class is swordsmanship. To put the icing on the cake, Ray is paired with Albert. The two start to spar, while the other students make fun of Ray, which Amelia does not like. As the two spar, Albert is pissed as he says that a weak sorcerer like Ray should not be allowed to spar with him. Ray then goes on to teach him a lesson. He is more skillful than him, and when Albert moves forward in anger and strikes Ray, he ends up breaking his sword because of the strong defense of Ray. The next thing we see, Albert is on his knees and Ray is the winner. Abby looks on and smiles as she sees a very skillful Ray. She is happy that Ray the Iceblade sorcerer is there, and with that, the episode comes to an end. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time with more exciting content. Take care.